Welcome to Arcane Moon Tarot. In today's reading, we're diving into a question that tugs at everyone's curiosity at some point. Who is thinking about me? Whether it's someone from your past, a hidden admirer, or an unexpected presence, we're not here to give you fluff. We're here to get real answers. This is a 6-card deep dive, designed to uncover who this person truly is, why you're on their mind, what they're thinking about you, and whether they'll act on it. If you've felt a pull lately, like someone's energy is brushing up against yours, this spread will help you trace it back to its source. So take a breath, center yourself, and let's see whose thoughts are drifting your way under this arcane moon. This is someone who, on the surface, appears calm, composed, and even emotionally restrained, but don't be fooled. Beneath that polished exterior, they feel deeply. They've likely gone through emotional turmoil in the past, and they've learned how to manage their inner storms without spilling them over others. This makes them appear wise, kind, even comforting. Think, the person everyone vents to, but who never really opens up themselves. This isn't an impulsive person. They don't act out of the blue. They stew on things, reflect, analyze. If they're thinking about you, it means you've touched something deep in them, not just surface-level attraction or curiosity. They don't bother with people who feel meh to them. When they're hooked, they stay hooked quietly for a long time before they show their hand. They may be professionally successful or respected in their circles: therapist, teacher, counselor, creative professional, or someone in a caregiving or leadership role. But emotionally, they don't often show vulnerability. You may not realize how much they've thought about you, or how intense their feelings actually are, because they cloak them in calm behavior. They're the type who says, "I'm fine," while feeling everything under the surface. They don't trust easily. They might have a strong, composed outward image, but they don't let people in without layers of vetting. If this is someone from your past, it's likely they never fully said how they felt. If this is someone around you now, they're quietly assessing, thinking, watching. Always watching. The fact that they're thinking about you means you've stirred something emotional that they usually keep locked up. Whether it's longing, regret, curiosity, or attraction, it's not casual. This is the type of person who can go months or years without reaching out, but never stops wondering. Example profiles of this person: an older or emotionally mature man, or masculine energy, especially one who listens more than he speaks. Someone who's always got it together, but never talks about their own stuff. A person you once had a deep emotional moment with, even if nothing came of it. A boss, mentor, healer, or artist who hides how much they feel. You likely know this person through a context that involves long-standing systems: family, work, shared community, or tradition. This isn't a fleeting Tinder swipe or someone you passed in a bar. This is a person you've either known for a while, encountered in a deeply structured setting, or were around in a context that carries a sense of history and structure. A connection forged through family, career, or a long-standing institution. You might have known them through a shared workplace, especially a serious or long-term one, corporate, family business, institutions. Family connections: this could be someone in your extended family or someone you met through family, a cousin's friend, your sibling's coworker, etc. Community or cultural networks: religious groups, cultural associations, property or real estate situations, or education settings. a long relationship from the past, someone you once had a grounded or serious connection with, possibly even someone you imagined a future with. This card suggests that, at some point, they saw you as someone they could have built something lasting with, or at the very least, someone who fit their image of what a future could look like. Whether or not that was acted on is another matter. But the recognition was there. You weren't just a passing thought. If you and this person are from different social classes, family expectations, or life stages, that could have been part of the dynamic. This is someone who thinks in terms of generational impact, financial planning, social standing. And if they held back from pursuing you, it may have been due to perceived misalignment in those areas. There could have been a moment where one or both of you hesitated because of what others expected, family obligations, reputations, or timing. This connection is rooted in something, but that root may have also held it down. Examples of the connection: a former coworker in a serious job or long-term role, someone you met through your family or cultural community. A past relationship where you almost settled down. A person tied to business, property, or shared wealth dynamics. Something in their recent life. A smell, a place, a photo, a conversation dragged them back to the past. The Six of Cups is pure memory. It means they're looking back not just with their head, but with a full, aching heart. This isn't about a passing curiosity. It's a moment where they got genuinely swept up in remembering you, how things were, and how they felt back then. They're likely comparing you or the time you shared to where they are now, and not in a flattering light for your present circumstances. You represent something they've lost: authenticity, innocence, emotional safety, or even hope. If this person has since been through messier relationships or life complications, you stand out as something more genuine, unspoiled, or emotionally real. They might be going through something now: a breakup, midlife reevaluation, family stress. And that's pushing them to revisit the people who made them feel most seen. The King of Cups usually contains his emotions, but this card suggests he's cracked open right now. That memory of you, it's become a sanctuary. You might have crossed their mind because something reminded them of you, or someone actually reminded them. Maybe they saw your name online. Maybe they stumbled on an old message or photo. Even if you didn't reach out or appear directly, your echo did. And it was enough to awaken real emotion. This card is soaked in the road not taken. Even if nothing ever fully happened between you two, they're now lingering in the fantasy of what might have been. And that fantasy feels realer than whatever they're dealing with in the present. Examples of triggering situations: looking through old photos or social media, returning to a shared location or mutual contact, seeing someone who resembles you or reminds them of the past. A life event, birth, death, breakup, that pushed them to reflect on emotional roots. The moon is the card of emotional fog, projection, and half-lit memories. They're not just thinking about you clearly, they're swimming in a mix of truth, fantasy, and doubt. They don't know if their feelings for you are based on actual past moments or an idealized version of you they've created in their head. But they can't stop turning it over. You're in their subconscious now, showing up in dreams, gut feelings, random waves of emotion. Part of their obsession is trying to unravel you. They're wondering, did you feel the same back then? Were you hiding something? Do you ever think of them now? There's a tone of regret, not necessarily for something they did wrong, but for what they didn't see or say. You're a mystery to them, and they're looping back over it again and again, trying to decode you. The moon is also deeply sensual. It doesn't always show its desire in a loud, obvious way, but it's there, slinking in the background. This person may be wrestling with longing, dreams, or even fantasies about you. But what's key here is that they can't place you. They don't fully understand you. And that unknowing is what keeps the obsession alive. Because they've built such a dream space around you, part of them fears reality. If they saw you now, would you still fit the image they've held on to? Would they still matter to you? Or worse, have they missed their moment forever? They're caught between wanting clarity and fearing what that clarity might reveal. This person may feel like they never gave you enough, or that they misjudged you, or that they were too cautious while you moved on. There's emotional noise in their head when they think of you, but the core of it is this: you are unfinished business to them. Examples of their current thoughts: did they ever really care about me? What would have happened if I had reached out? Do they remember the same things I do? Was that connection as real as I felt it was? Why can't I stop thinking about them? This person is moving from dream state to impulse mode. The Knight of Swords is blunt, fast, and often reckless. They've likely been ruminating on you for a while, King of Cups plus Moon. But now that the emotional pressure is building, they're reaching a breaking point. Expect sudden action, a message, a DM, a surprise call, or an in-person encounter. Not necessarily, "Hi, I love you," more like, "I've been thinking about you," dropped out of nowhere. This isn't a strategy. This is an eruption. Something will push them over the edge emotionally. Jealousy, loneliness, even seeing you with someone else. And they'll leap in without thinking through the consequences. Their contact might seem aggressive or overly direct, especially if they've been silent for a long time. They've gone from quietly brooding, King of Cups, to needing answers now. Don't expect flowers and well-composed letters. Expect raw honesty, maybe even bluntness. If they reach out, it'll be fast, possibly awkward, and with a desperate edge. Not because they want to scare you, but because they don't know how to contain the intensity anymore. They may blurt things out they've held in for years. Be prepared for truths that come out before they're fully processed. This person doesn't like feeling emotionally lost. Moon. The Knight of Swords suggests they'll come forward to break through the fog, to finally ask, "What really happened between us?" Or, "Did you feel it too?" It's part closure-seeking, part emotional grab. Whether or not they'll follow through depends on timing and what tips them into motion. But the urge is already alive and strong. This card can signal someone who finally makes a move, but possibly at the wrong moment or in a tone that doesn't land. It's not always graceful. It could leave you thinking, "Why now?" or "Why like this?" But it will be unmistakable. You'll know exactly when it happens. Examples of action: a sudden message late at night, a blunt confrontation. "I need to know where you stand." A quick, sharp emotional outpouring, then retreat. A social media interaction that opens a door. At its heart, the Three of Cups is about emotional lightness, friendship, and celebration. This tells us that this person's reemergence, or thoughts of them, serve a purpose: to reconnect you with a version of yourself that was more free, emotionally expressive, and socially open. This may have been a person tied to a time in your life when you felt more yourself, unburdened, creative, spontaneous. Even if this person thinks of you romantically, the reason this situation matters for you is that it calls you back into emotional community. This might mean reconnecting with shared friends, reopening your heart to celebration, or healing wounds that have made you hesitant to trust again. The point isn't necessarily to rekindle anything, it's to feel alive again. With all the heavy emotional undertones of the Moon and the Knight of Swords, it's tempting to think this is some epic karmic return. But the Three of Cups says, lighten up. Take what's good from this. Let it affirm your worth. If this person reaches out, respond from a place of emotional fullness, not need. If they don't, smile at the fact that you touched someone deeply enough that they never forgot. This card suggests a new cycle for you. More warmth, connection, invitations, even romance. But it won't come from sitting still. You're meant to say yes more. Go out. Reconnect. You may even meet someone new through this reconnection. This situation may be the emotional release valve you needed to make space for something better. They may be drowning in memory, confusion, and desire. That's theirs to hold. You can choose joy. This card grants you permission to feel gratitude for what was, without slipping back into what no longer serves you. Final summary. Who is thinking about you? Someone deeply emotional, composed on the outside, but intensely stirred on the inside, is thinking about you. Likely someone you knew through a long-term, grounded environment, family, work, or shared community. You touched something lasting in them, and right now, a wave of nostalgia is breaking over them hard. You've resurfaced in their emotional memory as a symbol of something purer, something they may have lost since. They're not thinking about you casually. They're obsessing, dreaming, wondering what was real and what they missed. They might even impulsively reach out, driven by a need for clarity or emotional relief, but don't expect finesse. Expect intensity. But here's the core message. This situation is for your healing and release. You don't need to carry their confusion. You don't need to reopen every old wound. Whether or not they act, this moment is about you reclaiming your joy, your lightness, and your right to love in a fuller, freer way. Let their thoughts of you be a mirror, not a magnet.